sometimes you hit a wall or you got to climb a mountain all of a sudden and you're like, I have no other option but to go after this thing. And then all of a sudden this new gear shows up that you click into. And you're like, I didn't even know I was capable of that.
The house is burning. I'm thinking fire trucks are going to be on their way. Everything's cool. So then I just asked him, I said, is everyone good? Is everything all right inside? He's like, no, there's 2 kids upstairs.
First of all, I'm so proud of who you are in our organization, in my life, and so many people's lives. All right, cool. Ladies and gents, welcome. This is The Signal. Okay, this is Boundless Energy. We're calling this The Signal because we're just sending this out. This isn't for everybody. This is an opportunity for us to send out this signal and find our people, because I think there's great people out there in the world that are looking for a great place to be and looking for a tribe of people they want to align with. And one of the things that I've been thinking about a lot over the last couple of months is just, how we got to do a better job of sharing with people who we are and making ourselves findable for those people. And I don't think we've been as findable as we need to be. So we're doing this podcast for that purpose, is to, one, share great stories, but let people know who we are. And today on the pod right here, I'm Riley Traveler. I got Mark Featherstone right here next to me, one of the founders of this company as well. And then we got Bruce Wayne Hodges in the building today, who certainly feels like one of the founders of the company, because you came in just right after we started.
That's right.
Number 7.
Number 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, your moniker is Bruce Wayne 007.
That's correct. That's correct.
So dual hero.
You got it. Yeah.
So that's who we got on the pod today. We're going to talk a little bit. I was thinking about what we do in this first episode, and a concept that just came to mind given some recent events that we're going to get into with Bruce here. But for those of you that didn't watch the news, or if you live under a rock, you didn't hear. But if you have an internet connection on any device, you've certainly seen it's made national headlines, or at least Worcester headlines, and all of New England. But this guy right here, Bruce, you're driving down the road the other day, and I've always known you're an incredible human being, but you're driving down the road and you see a fire and you pull over. You start yelling out your window, like, everybody okay? And they're like, nah, there's 2 people in there.
Right.
And you pulled over and you went and saved them from the fire. And we're going to get into that in just a little bit. But we're not going to get into it just yet.
Okay.
I just share that because I thought it was poetic, really, that, you in this organization, you are like a hero to many people. You've been with us from day one. You've been a servant leader. Every new person that comes into our business has actually flown through you in what you've done with, new hire onboarding and training and development. And you're working with our channel partners as well. And you do a lot of things, but your name from day one your real name is Bruce Wayne Hodges. That's correct?
That's correct. Or the second. My dad likes to add that part, because sometimes I just say it's Bruce Wayne Hodges.
Yeah,
they write the ticket under his name.
Yeah, smart. Smart. So he is Bruce Wayne Hodges,
yes,
and you are Bruce Wayne Hodges the second.
That's correct.
And so, the name of this episode is What's in a Name? And I think that's a fitting first episode because, part of the reason we wanted to do this was, yes, share who Boundless is, share who we are, so that we can get the word out and find the people that are looking for us. And then, man, I was just thinking about you and what happened there. And it's like, what's in a name? It's for how you are called and related to by so many people is what showed up there and created some action. So we're going to talk a little bit about names and how all that goes. But that's all I got for an intro. All right. What's up? How you guys doing?
I'm doing awesome. I'm excited to chat with you today, Bruce.
Let's do it, man.
You've been to me, I think I've said this multiple times to so many people over the years, is like, you're actually the Dos Equis guy to me. Like the most interesting man in the world,
Appreciate that,
and I've actually told so many stories about you all over the place all the time. And anecdotally, I'm like, I think Bruce is the most interesting man in the world. I think every month maybe there's something I hear about Bruce or something I learn about you that I'm like, what? Like, you do that, or you've done that, And I'll kick it off with just a small one, just a small story.
Go ahead, Mark.
Which I just love.
Wait, is this the Texas story?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, not the Texas story.
Okay.
That
No,
that,
he's got-
that was an awesome one.
That was a
a
pretty
great
awesome
time,
one.
man.
Yes.
But no, this was I had known Bruce for like a few years at this point, and he's extremely interesting person to me and a man of many talents. And I'm in the office here one day, and Bruce walks in with a bird on his shoulder. He just walks in the office with a bird on his shoulder.
As one does.
As
That's
one
Tango.
does,
That's
you know?
Tango.
And
He's
so
my dog.
casually, Tango, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so casually walks in the office like it ain't a thing, and I'm standing there like, what, my dream, like what's going on, And I'm like, what is that? And you're like, oh, this is my African gray bird.
African
Is it?
gray, correct.
Yeah, you're like, this is my African gray bird, Tango. And I was like, oh, I didn't know you had an African gray bird or any bird, frankly. And you're like, yeah. And I was like, how long have you had this bird for? And how long?
I've
have you
had
the
Tango
bird?
since he was 4 years old. At that time, it was about 10 years.
10 years.
Yes.
So you had this bird for 10 years.
Yes.
And like I had known you at this point for a few years. And you're like, yeah, this is my African gray bird. He is also a bird of many. He's the most interesting bird. He's the Dos Equis bird. And this bird can do a lot, you know?
can. He talks a lot. He
Yeah,
mimics
talks
me.
a lot, communicating to me and everything. And then there's a picture that you send to me every now and then of that
Yes.
bird. Either was it on my head?
It's literally on the top
Just
of
the
your
bird
hat.
sitting on my head,
Yep.
and just a small thing, like one of many things that I've experienced with you over the course of time in which I've known you. That I'm like, oh, that's incredible,
Thanks, Mark.
And so yeah, that story is awesome to me. Just walking in with the birds, my African gray bird, Tango.
Hey, just bring your pet to work. You know what I mean? That was my pet.
Did we do that? I think you just
No,
did that.
I think I just did
you
that.
created
Yeah, I
it.
think I just did that.
So
Nice.
good, so good.
Nice. So listen, this you came into our lives in 2020. Let's go back. When we talk about like what's in a name, I think it's important. We're going to talk about Boundless. We're going to talk about the company for just a second, and then we're going to transition. And we're only doing this because everybody's coming here they want to hear the story of what just happened to you, what you just did, this last week. And so we're going to, use that tension and that cliffhanger to plug the business a little bit.
Let's
You know
do
what I
it.
mean? And
Let's
I think
do
it's
it.
good. I think it's good for everybody. So listen, you came into our life in 2020. We're out here in New England. Boundless is headquartered in Massachusetts. I'm originally from Idaho, but I've been out here in New England since 2017. They call it Titletown. I
Yep.
fell in love with New England. I'll tell you something about New England that's also part of this company's culture is New England, man, they are winners. They're winners. They just expect winning. They expect greatness. When I moved to town within 2 years, the Red Sox won a World Series. The Patriots won a Super Bowl. The Bruins won a Stanley Cup. And the Celtics went to the conference finals. That was the year that the Celtics lost Tatum's rookie season when he dunked on LeBron James, but they ultimately lost that series.
The Bruins almost won a Stanley Cup. They won back in 2011.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, they like just
excuse
fell
me.
short. It was the St.
They
Louis
went
Blues.
to the Stanley Cup.
Yeah,
That's what I meant. to
But
say.
they were there frequent Stanley Cup visitors.
I don't want to
Yeah.
upset anybody, but the Bruins is the basketball team, right?
Yeah, that's my
Yeah,
high
yeah,
school
of course.
basketball
Oh,
team was
okay,
the Bruins.
okay.
Yeah, Twin Falls High School Bruins. But anyway, yeah, it just incredible, an incredible culture, and I think one of the things I love about New England is just that winning is something that you should be incredibly proud of. It is the objective at all times, and we try and embody that here in the organization. But
Gritty up here.
it's a little gritty,
Yeah.
But Bruce, I wanted to, I think it's great your perspective here. For talking to, I think the people that we're talking to, probably we have people inside of our organization already that are listening to this podcast. We're going to have people outside of the organization that are maybe within the industry who are interested in or just kind of looking for a place to call home. And then we got people that are from outside of the industry that just are looking for an opportunity. And I think the solar space is an incredible place with lots of upside and lots of opportunities within it. And so we're talking to all different types of people here. But Bruce, you have a great perspective, I think, because you didn't know us really. Your brother-in-law was working with us, with the two of us or a couple of us at a previous company.
Correct.
And you actually moved out here from Arizona.
Mhm.
I'm going to share a little bit of the story. I'm going to ask you to take it over here. And I just want to hear what it was like for you discovering solar and discovering the organization. But so you move out, it's COVID, right? So COVID happens. You move out here to start working. But because of COVID, the previous organization that we were at, they went on a hiring freeze.
Correct.
So they're like, nah, you can't.
after I got here.
You're like, yeah, but I'm already here, so like you can make an exception. And they were like, nah.
No, they didn't really know. They didn't know me.
They didn't know who
They
you were.
lost
They
out.
should have.
Yeah,
They
lost
should have.
out.
They could have, and they would have had they known. But you move out here. To just tell us. Let's go through that chronologically a little bit. What was that like for you, and how was it? Let's just hear about it. I'd love to hear from your perspective.
I'll make it short, but I'm gonna wind it a little bit here.
Okay.
I was in the industry of hospitality.
Okay.
I was going to school to be a chef. I was working at a dude ranch, the largest dude ranch, Tinga Verde Guest Ranch out in Arizona. And I got
I think the largest dude ranch was actually the Blink-182 album.
the active. Oh, stop.
Yeah, that was. I think that did more. But anyway.
Okay. Yep. Sorry. The second largest dude ranch, Tinga Verde Guest Ranch. And I got in a motorcycle accident. Lost my sense of taste and smell. Had internal head bleeding. And the career just kind of just shut from there. I laid up in the bed for a couple of years, just depressed, and I ended up applying for a job for American Airlines. I was just working it part-time, and sister's boyfriend comes along and says he's got an alarm company and he wants me to work with him. I said, sure. And we set up a meeting, and I no-showed him.
Nice.
Because I wasn't really interested in doing anything. I had my flight
Yeah.
benefits, and I was kind of depressed at the time. But we ended up doing an alarm company together. It got pretty good size for the two of us to build something out. He had grit, I had grit. We were ready to go out there and take care of people. And we started looking at the solar industry, and we're like, wow, that would be something cool to kind of combine with this. And I already had prior commitments with the airlines. So he came out to Massachusetts, started. My plan was to follow him after a year of my commitment at the airlines in Colorado. And when that was done, I came out here to Mass, and I was hired on with the company. At the time COVID started, I'm going to throw this little plug in. I was out in Scotland with one of my best friends. And I flew back from Scotland to Massachusetts to start my journey in the solar career. And they told me that they weren't doing any training. They shut down the training department.
And you were in Scotland just checking in on your barbershop? Is that what you're doing?
It was a buddy of mine, rest in peace, Michael Camagno. But yes, he was out in Scotland, opened up a barbershop that I assisted with marketing, and I would say a silent investor in the barbershop to help him out with his career out there in a newfound country that he was going to be at. And so I was out there just hanging out a little bit. And I came back, and they said that they weren't going to be hiring at the time, or excuse me, that they shut down the sales training force. Well, unfortunately, I had already taken a 2-year leave of absence with the airlines because it was COVID. Nobody was flying.
Mhm.
So now I am in Massachusetts with no job, a leave of absence from another job, and no real direction besides I'm ready to hit the ground running and let's do something. So I'm not going to go back home empty-handed. I happened to come across your other partner, Mr. Bill Menzel, and he came over to the house of my brother-in-law and my sister, and we just hit it off. It was awesome, and told me what you guys possibly might be doing. And I said, well, I would be interested. He's like, we'd be interested to have you. You want to come in and have a meeting with all 5 of us in the office? I was like, sure, when? He's like, I don't know, maybe tomorrow. I was like, okay. And I walked into an office about the size of this room right here and 5 partners. Yeah. And I knew immediately that you individuals were the ones that I would be like working for. You guys had it. Just the moment I seen you, the eye contact, the business realm of what you guys were trying to do at the time, I wanted to be all part of that situation. So when you guys gave me the offer, I was like, tell me what to do next. That's it. I'm ready to go.
Well, you must have really impressed Bill because we were literally hiring anybody at that time. So, no, you know what? You said you hit it off with Bill. Of course you did. Like, who doesn't hit it off with Bill? Bill's one of the coolest individuals.
Yes.
You know, if you're the Dos Equis, he might be the Tres Equis guy.
Let's
You know,
go.
Like, he's pretty sick too. So, thanks for saying that. So, you know, for those of you that don't know, we started the company in 2020. There was 5 of us in a room, little tiny room, not much bigger than this. Like, it was about this size, and there was not enough space you couldn't have a meeting one-on-one. Whoever you were talking to, 4 other people were hearing it.
Remember, like, our early on frustrations were like the backs of our chairs bumping into each other
I do,
in this
yeah.
tiny little room.
I remember
It's like,
getting-
I don't got any space.
I remember getting pissed off because you guys are just all up in my business all the time. But there's nowhere to go. So
there was nowhere to go.
yeah, no private conversations. Everybody was just doing everything. We started off the company. This is June 2020. Boundless. We talk about like what's in a name. A lot of companies and a lot of names sometimes just get thrown out. You need a name, like you have a kid, and the doctor hands you the baby, and they're like, "What's its name?" And some people spend a lot of time thinking about names and thinking about what they want it, and it can mean something. And sometimes you just have to give it a name, and so you give it a name. And I think there's some scientific evidence that names are actually a precursor to somebody's future, or it doesn't have a zero impact.
Sure.
Okay.
Right.
Not to say that it has, fortune telling properties, but it does impact the future of somebody's life to some degree. Okay. Like in my case, my name is Riley. So when I got to kindergarten and there's a girl named Riley, that's why I'm so insecure today. Okay. So the names mean
Still
something.
holding on to that. Huh?
Names mean something, and so that's why I resent my parents to this day because of that. But it made me tougher. You guys ever heard that song by Johnny Cash, A Boy Named Sue?
Mm-hmm.
That's how I feel. I'm just not that tough. But I do have a girl's name, so it kind of goes. Well, you guys don't get it.
Slightly, a little bit.
You guys don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't expect you to, but I get it. And the rest of you, boy Rileys out there, you get it. So anyway, Boundless is an organization. We talked about Boundless and like what that means. I want to ask you guys if you could just describe it to the audience as if it's somebody that is interested in working in our organization or interested in coming and taking a look. Like, who are we and what does the name Boundless mean?
Go for it, Bruce.
Yeah, I'll jump in. I just remember actually being at our first summit, a regional summit down in Florida, when we were actually talking about the culture that we had. And we're all in a big Airbnb, just kind of secluded because we can't go anywhere because of COVID. And we knew that we could feel something. There was something here. There was an element of energy and everything that we were doing, but we didn't have words for it. And going around the room and kind of hearing what people were experiencing at that time. And me personally, knowing how it started and the opportunity that it was for me and what I've seen in that short period of time, it was impactful. The name Boundless to me, it really was that limitless, here's the pill. This company can literally do whatever we want because of our alignment of what we're trying to do as a company. The people that it attracted and came into the company were the same type of individuals. Like it was really a pass on of exactly what U5 Partners had in the beginning, an attraction of people that had that same passion and want to be able to grow and provide and have that opportunity. Yeah, I don't know if I can really describe it in words. It's more of a feeling for me than anything else because I've observed it from the very beginning.
Well, what does Boundless feel like?
The company as a whole?
Yeah.
I would have to tell you that it feels like a family. It really does. I've had a lot of jobs, military. I was electrician, chef, all that stuff. None of it has ever felt the way that it feels here. We know each other, not just by first name basis. We know each other's birthdays, families. We congregate together. We work hard and we get in the trenches with each other. We have a common goal and direction that we're pushing and trying to achieve. So a lot of people say it's like the all-star team. We're here to win. That's exactly what we're here to do. But when you're here to win with your family on your side, people that actually genuinely care about you and your success, it doesn't really feel like the sales organization when people are trying to fight over certain things. It's like we help lift each other up. It is truly that servant leadership from the top all the way to the bottom.
Sick.
It's awesome.
What do you think, Marcus?
Boundless.
What does it feel like to you? What does it mean to you? What does our name mean? Who are we?
It means many things, but what really comes to mind for me all the time is I think there's a point in everybody's life that happens so frequently and sometimes infrequently, but when it happens, you recognize it and you see it, and it's when you discover another gear. Like you hit a wall or you have some sort of adversity in your life, or you're faced with a challenge or whatever it may be, and then all of a sudden, like the realization that there's another gear. It's like I got another gear that I didn't even know I had.
Yeah.
And like that to me is boundless. That's how it feels to me. And I think that's who we've become, is helping each other discover and find what that next gear is that we can actually shift into. That sometimes is hard to find yourself, you know? And sometimes you do. Like sometimes you hit a wall or you got to climb a mountain all of a sudden and you're like, man, I have no other option but to go after this thing. And then all of a sudden this new gear shows up that you click into and you're like, I didn't even know I was capable of that. But I think in a group and in a group of people in a community, it's easy to help each other discover that more than it is for an individual to discover that through something tumultuous or something challenging, you know? And I think that's what boundless and being boundless has always felt and meant to me.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gave me some insight right there. That hit right on, man.
Right on, bro.
Yeah, it's been that next gear for a lot of people that didn't know that there was another gear there.
There's always another one. Everybody's
Yes.
got one,
Yeah.
which is so cool to me.
I personally have experienced working in an organization or organizations with a leader or leaders that don't give people the time and energy required to grow into who they're capable of becoming. Like, I love sports. You know, we talked about New England sports. Like, let's talk about the Boston Celtics for just a second. The Celtics just won in 5 games against the Orlando Magic last night in dominant fashion. And they're on their way to what I believe will be the 2nd championship in a row. We'll see on that. I think there's a 60% chance. Maybe even better than that now, 75%. But let me just share what I'm seeing in the NBA right now and with teams. The 3 best teams in the NBA right now, in my humble opinion, are the Boston Celtics, the Cleveland Cavaliers, and the Oklahoma City Thunder. Okay? What all 3 of those teams have in common is they drafted young players, they stuck by their side, and they developed them over time. Now, the Cleveland Cavaliers did trade for Donovan Mitchell a couple of years back, and so that is an addition to the team, which, you know, that can happen too. But they're not going out trying to get the biggest stars and bring them together. They're actually saying, we believe in people and growth and time and development, and that over the course of time, bonds build stronger. Like, there's much more longevity. There's much more likelihood of success. If you give people time to come together, gel together, grow together, you're going to get the best outcomes. We've seen that in New England sports. That's actually been the Boston Celtics since the 50s. That's been their strategy. It's about team and winning over person or individual accolades or one individual person. To me, what this company is and what boundless means is boundless, you know, that's everybody's going to grow. I believe that the potential inside of a human being is essentially limitless. Not everybody's going to figure that out, okay? And that's okay. But everybody's going to grow and evolve over time and likely become a better version of themselves over time in the right environment. I've worked with a business coach in the past. He said, be the soil, not the seed. Make sure the soil is good. And if the soil is good, the crops will grow. So I think there's great soil here. This is a place where the thing I'm most proud of is just how long the tenure of everybody here. You know, our leaders have been here for a long time. A lot of people have been in this organization even prior to this being an organization. Like, how many people have been in our lives or have we been working with we've been in business for almost 5 years. Okay. Well, yeah, we've worked with a lot of the leaders for 5 years, but we've worked with a lot of them for 7, 10, 12, like a long time. Well, you can't fake genuine care for a human being. You can't dupe somebody for 10 years.
Right.
They'll figure you out eventually. So I think what we have here is a solid core of incredible human beings that are growing and have space to grow and give other people space to grow as well. The man of the hour, I'm first of all, I'm so proud. I'm so proud of you and what you've done, just who you are in our organization, in my life and so many people's lives. And then just what happened the other day. I'm going to share this because the thing I hate about, one of the things I hate about you, Bruce.
tell me one of the things.
Is that you're not going to toot your own horn.
No.
I love that about you. And so I'm going to do that for you just a little bit. And I'm going to share a little bit of this story and then we're going to really dive in. So the other weekend, you're driving home. You leave the office, You're driving home. What actually happened was, and you can get in, so you can correct me with these details. Help
Okay.
me share this story.
Absolutely.
Okay. So we're doing the Q1 elite meet. So all of the top performers from Q1, they flew out to headquarters. We're all here in the building. Some people were shooting videos in here, getting a little bit of
Right.
content. And everybody's getting ready. We're going to go to dinner, and then we're going to the Celtics game. Okay. And so everybody's out. We're doing that. And then you notice Dakota Williams, who Dakota Williams is the VP of the Masters field marketing. So Dakota's here with some of the top performers that are on his team. And he says, hey, I got to go because my significant other, Grace Goumany, who's actually one of the regionals in field marketing in our business, she's also an absolute
Let's go,
animal.
Grace.
So Grace she has to set up for an event. And so Dakota has to leave to go help her get a rental car
Correct.
so that she can then load things up for this event. She needs a bigger car, so she's getting a rental car for this event, which she crushed that event, and I think she got like 10 deals out of this one event. So you hear that and you go over to Dakota, okay? And this is just who Bruce Hodges is. This is Bruce Wayne. This is 007 right here, okay? You hear that and you go, hey, I'm not doing anything right now. You got people up here, like, and by the way, Bruce, it's like 5 o'clock. I wouldn't want to be doing this. But here you are, and you go, hey, what's going on? I heard you're like leaving or you can't go. Like, can I help you? And he goes, I got to go get a rental car and for Grace, and I have to put it in my name. And so I'm going to do that. And you go, well, I can drive over there. Like, let me help you out. And he's like, well, no, I have to like be there to get the rental car. And you go, I'll deal with it.
Right.
Like, go to the elite meet. I'll go. So you just saw an opportunity to do something kind to somebody else so that they could go do something else and be with the people that were up here to celebrate. And I think that this is where this story starts. And I think what's so profound about this is this whole thing started by you noticing somebody in need and you just said, I'll do it. And it was a small thing. Maybe to you, I don't know what it was. Maybe like, you didn't want to drive all the way home.
I actually passed my house.
Maybe you had some. All right. So there's no ulterior motive here other than you just wanted to do something kind for somebody else. So you end up saying, okay, I'll do this. Dakota, you go. So Dakota goes to dinner. Dakota goes to the game. You then are driving to go get this rental car.
Yes.
Okay. And this is where we're at when all of a sudden you notice on the side of the road, you're driving, you leave the office, you stop to get something to eat.
I'm gonna rewind it. I got
Let's
you. You're
rewind.
right.
Yeah. So I'm
Majority
doing a
of
pretty
that
good
is-
job.
Yeah, you're doing a great
Thanks,
job,
thanks.
Riley. Proud of you. But me and Dakota had already talked about it. Dakota's my guy. I
Yeah.
mean, this guy taught me how to door knock when we spent 2 months down in South Carolina,
Yeah.
including Mark was down there. I remember I still have the videos from it. That was awesome. But the guy is just amazing from the first time that I met him. So we've built a relationship since his employment with Boundless. And we were talking, told him I got a guy down in Rhode Island that can get a rental car. I said, I can take him over there. He's cool. Dakota's fine with it. We're going to go. But as we're walking out to leave, somebody says, Dakota, are you going to meet us at dinner? And he's like, no, I can't go to the dinner, but I'll meet you guys at the game. I'm like, wait a minute. You can't go to dinner? He's like, well, yeah, I was going to go with you to get the car. I said, don't worry about it. I'll just go get the car, then go down and get Grace in New Hampshire, and you go to dinner and go to the game. I'll take care of it, bro. He's like, are you serious? I was like, yeah, bro. Like, don't miss out on this. You have the people that you serve on a daily basis over here, excited, celebrate with them. I can go. I have nothing to do. It's just me and Tango at the house, and I got some chickens outside. It's not a big deal.
Tango had been harassing you probably a little bit.
A little
so
bit.
you wanted
We've
to
been
stay out of
fighting a
the
little
house.
bit.
Yeah, I get
the
it.
thing about it, he talks and yells at me in my own voice, and that's it's almost like, is he talking or is it my head telling me these things? But I decided to go get it, go down to the actual rental car place, and they won't rent the car to me because of the fact that I don't have a Rhode Island license. So I'm like, oh man. I said, okay, I'm just gonna go down there in my truck, and I'm gonna just load everything up and just pick her up and take her up here. I won't lie to you. I told her I was on my way, but I stopped. I had to get something to eat. Yeah, it's called the Chicken Coop. It's a place in Rhode Island.
I know
Just
that, yeah.
opened up.
All right.
Fire. If you guys ever are down in Rhode Island, check out the Chicken Coop. I threw you in there. But I stopped there, ate some food, and got on the road. 5 minutes before I get to Grace's house, which is about an hour and a half drive, I'm on FaceTime on my phone. I'm hands free though, because it's on the dash, just so that everyone knows that.
You're driving on FaceTime.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which is totally safe, and I think it's legal.
I think so. I wasn't looking at the screen. No, it was looking at me, right? Yeah. And 5 minutes before I get there, I'm like, to the person on the phone, I'm like, I think this house is on fire. I see smoke. And I get a little closer, and I see fire coming from the front door area of the porch. So I roll down my window, and I was like, is everybody okay? And two young teenagers are like, no, do you have a fire extinguisher? I was like, no, I don't. I got a fire extinguisher, but the house it's burning.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking fire trucks are going to be on their way. Everything's cool. So then I just asked him. I said, "Is everyone good? Is there everything all right inside?" He's like, "No, there's two kids upstairs," and I can't even tell you. Even listening to the dash cam, I don't even know what went in my head besides go in the house. And I think you can hear it in the dash cam. You might have to bleep that out if you're going to show it. But I threw a couple F-bombs in there, and I was like, I'm running in the house.
Yeah.
Because the person was on FaceTime with me. They need to know, like, if something happens, Bruce is trying to burn the building. So I pull forward in my truck, throw it in park, and I run out, and I take off my Boundless jacket. It's the first jacket that I ever got with the Boundless company. It's Eddie Bauer edition. I think I got it from Riley's closet when we were doing a shoot.
You stole it. You stole it.
I borrowed it.
No, yeah. And you were going to give it back.
I was going to give it back to you. I had planned to give it back.
That's where you
to
were going after you dropped Grace off.
Exactly. To bring you your jacket.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So I throw the jacket over my face and I try to enter the front building. You can't see anything in the house, nothing but smoke. So I run back out and the kids are screaming. You have neighbors there that are yelling. Everybody's just all over the place at the moment, which you would be if there's a 2-story building on fire. But that gets blocked out of my head. And I think that had to do with a lot of my military training in the Marine Corps. And I'm asking them for another access. Is there another way to get into the house? And they point to the back. So I run to the back. It's already engulfed in flames. I'm like, well, where are the kids at? And they're like, we don't know. So we start shouting out to the kids. Finally, I see a hand, which I have another video because the FaceTime that I had, I grabbed my phone and I threw it on the floor as I'm running around the building so that they knew what was going on. And you can see one of the kids' hands go out the window. Smoke is coming out of it. You can barely see. Top floor.
Yeah.
Yep.
2 stories?
2 stories. So then I believe somebody came up and they're like trying to throw a rope up there to him. I was like, that's not going to work. We need a ladder. So I said, everybody look for a ladder. So they're shouting, anybody got a ladder? Anybody got a ladder? We finally got a ladder. We leaned it up against to the house, which there was a chimney right there. So it wasn't all the way against the house. So the ladder kept kind of slipping. So we told the guys, just hold it right there. And I start yelling at the kids, get on the ladder so you can get out of the house. And one of them was like, I'm just going to jump. I was like, don't jump, get on the ladder and walk down. So we're holding the ladder. One of the kids gets his foot on the ladder and you can see the flames behind him. He has no shirt on. And then that's when I told him he had to jump. Yeah, not to laugh about it.
How old is this kid?
They're both 13 years old.
Wow.
Both 13 years old. So we tell them to jump. They jump out of the building while the ladder's still there. Myself, I believe the father is there at the time, and some other bystander or neighbor was there. Kind of took some of the impact of the kids when they came down.
So they jumped on to you guys?
I wouldn't say they jumped onto us, but they jumped out the building and we attempted to catch them.
Yeah.
Yes, but we
you
kind
broke
of
their
took some
fall
of
a little bit.
the impact, yes.
Yeah.
And we got them away from the house, sat them down. They kind of wanted to walk around. I was like, no, you guys need to sit down. You got a lot of smoke and inhalation in your lungs. Just sit here for a little bit, making sure there's no one else in the house. So we go back over there, verify that there's no one else in the house. And yeah, the firefighters ended up showing up a little while after that, but it was already engulfed in flames at that time. I had people move their vehicles that were outside of the house to get them away from the home so that they didn't get burned down. And yeah, it was a crazy experience. Not during the fact, but on my drive home, it hit me. It hit me pretty hard because what if those kids didn't make it out and I was there and I wasn't able to help them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that still weighs on me a little bit.
This happens at like dusk, right? So you can see in your dash cam video, it's not dark yet. And then there's a news station there immediately, and then after the basketball game, so we're at the basketball game while all this is going on. After the game, Brett Goldstein comes up to me and he's like, dude, you're not going to believe this. And he shows me this video, and it says, local, Good Samaritan rescues 2 people from burning building. He's like, you're not going to believe who pops up on camera. And what went through my head, I wish I would have said it out loud, because then I could like prove that I actually thought this. But I'm like, I bet it's Bruce. And then sure enough, there's Bruce on camera with the local news, and they're interviewing you, and it is dark at this point. And I was just like, yeah, of course it's Bruce. Like if there's a burning building, like, and you're driving by, like, that's you must be living right if your house is on fire just at the time that Bruce Hodges is driving by the building. That's really sick, dude.
Yeah.
I got to throw in there though the fire chief that was there. His name is Billy.
Yeah.
As I'm walking from the house, they pull up and he starts yelling at me, "Get your truck out of the way," this and that, because I jumped out of my truck and it's in the middle of the road, still running. And I move my truck and I go on the outside of the barriers, and I'm just kind of watching, making sure everything's okay. And he comes up to me afterwards and he's like, "I apologize. I didn't know that you were the guy that actually got them out of the building. That was all on me. We just needed to get." I was like, "Not a problem, man. My uncle was a firefighter. I'm sorry I didn't have my firefighter hat."
He was
with
a jerk
me.
too, right? Your uncle?
Yeah, my Uncle Steven. No, I'm just kidding. He's not a jerk. No. I actually have his last firefighter hat. I wish I had it with me in the truck, but I didn't plan on fighting a fire that day.
Yeah. No, you never know. Man.
What do you got, Marky?
So much,
Yes.
actually.
Yeah, I see it.
Isn't that just like you can call it a macrocosm, isn't that just a microcosm of like how we've always felt about Bruce?
Yeah.
And I see it in everything, man. It's really cool. It's such an amazing way to live your life. And any little thing, really, we've known each other, what, 5 years?
5 years.
About 5 years now. Any little thing, like someone's got to move, like you overhear it too. It's not even like somebody's like coming to ask you, it's like, "Hey, I'm moving." And like like Bruce's truck is the first one pulling in the driveway, He's like, "Load up my truck. I'll help you move out of your apartment, help you move out of your house." I've actually seen that exact scenario, I'm pretty sure, like maybe 5 times in the last 5 years. You'd be like, "Tag me in. I got a truck. I'm in." There was one thing, and you'll never actually tell me the truth, I bet. But probably not. But we were on a motorcycle ride, the most recent one that we went on, and it was me and you and a group, and Jim and Bill, and we went up to Vermont to that awesome cabin.
Yes.
This was last September,
Okay.
I believe. And I had to leave early. I remember I had to like drive home a day early.
Oh, I do remember this.
I had to drive home a day early. Everybody's staying a day later, and like this drive home, like this is a haul home, And the drive home is probably, I mean, if you're ripping on the highway, it's probably 2.5 hours, 3 hours straight, if nonstop, And I'm like, God, this ride home is daunting. I got to go do this solo by myself. And then I remember you saying, you're like, I actually have to go home early. I'm gonna go home early.
Yeah,
I could go home early, and I know you're not. And I remember being like, "Dude, just stay. You don't have to." And you're like, "No, like I have things to do. I got all this stuff to do." And you never said anything about it. And man, did we rip it home together.
It was a
that
great ride,
fun.
Mark.
And you linked up with me, and you rode all the way home with me. And I know you'll never say it, but I feel like you didn't actually have to go home. And maybe like just in your heart, man, in that Bruce Wayne 007 heart of yours, you're like, well, that would suck if that were me, like driving home, 4 hours, whatever it is, on a motorcycle alone on a highway. And knowing you, man, you're probably thinking like, well, it's safer, obviously, too, to ride in two and in a pair. And I'm not going to let Mark get in that situation. And that's what I believe happened. And again, you don't have to say anything.
Okay.
That's what I believe in my heart,
Gotcha.
Just based off of everything else I've seen you do and where I've seen you step up in your life for other people. And that day, I don't know if I actually expressed it to you because we ended up breaking off towards the end, and you went back towards your home, and I had still another 45 minutes to go to get to my house. I was exhausted, and I got home, and that was my thought when I got home. Like, I'm pretty sure that was a kindness of his heart thing to come home from a trip early and make sure that I was safe and I got home and that I had company on that ride home. And so that didn't go unnoticed, bro.
I appreciate that, Mark.
Whatever the reason was.
Right. You will probably never know.
He actually left the stove on, but yeah, so good to get credit like that, you know?
Right?
Yeah, but just incredible, man.
I believe,
So,
I believe you, Mark. It's either that. It could also be like, you know, the remaining guys just weren't that good of a hang.
it could be, yeah, maybe, I don't know.
He probably looked. He could have looked around. He's like, Mark's leaving. He's like, yeah, I got stuff too. I have stuff too.
Anyone that knows me knows I always talk about the variables, and that is a very high probability of a variable. No, I'm just kidding. No, not at all. I do remember that, Mark. I forgot about that story, and it was a great ride going back home with you, man. I wish we had headphones to be able to talk to each other.
Man. I gotta
during that time.
Upgrade my helmet.
I think this goes back to what I said in the beginning about Boundless and what this is. This is just not employment in a place where you go in and clock out. Like, this is a family, and we do things as a family. We support each other, we love each other, and we kick in that other gear. And that moment of time and knowing that you were going to be going home by yourself on a ride that you enjoyed with all of us going up, it needed to be done, regardless of if I had something to do or not. It wasn't going to be something I was going to ask somebody to do, or I wasn't going to ask you if it was okay to go. I was going. So I'll leave it at that.
The reason I started telling the story about, like, the headline is Bruce Wayne 007 has a superhero moniker within our organization and amongst, you know, people that know him. And then all of a sudden has to throw a cape on, you know, or a jacket over his face and like go act and go do something. But I started the story because I thought it was really interesting that that wouldn't have happened if you didn't do something small for somebody else ahead of time. What's the lesson? Like, do you think there's something bigger there? Like, do you believe in God? Do you believe in everything happens for a reason? Like, what's the lesson that you take from this whole thing?
I would probably have to go back to just childhood and watching my father. Like, he is the OG Bruce Wayne, you know. And I believe that the story was his name was actually Wayne Bruce, and they messed up on his birth certificate, and that's how he got named Bruce Wayne. Don't know if it's true or not, but I've heard that story before. But watching him throughout his life, and my mother as well, being servant leaders to others and always opening their doors to individuals at our house or helping out at the church. I am religious. Watching that and growing up and having that instilled in me, it's life is more than just self, right? There's a lot that we can do for ourselves. Even people that pray, they're always praying for themselves to do something. But when do we do that for others? Like, if we can get just a little bit more of that investment into other people, you have no idea how big of an impact that you can make, or that gear that they didn't have at the time to get them to the next place. And it's small acts of kindness. I remember Mark saying this in training class. He says, small acts of kindness create friendships, and friends refer friends of friends. And if you do a small act of kindness to somebody that has an impact, regardless of the weight of it, but they know that you didn't need to do it and you did, it might prone them or prompt them to want to do that for somebody else in the future. So it's almost like a chain reaction of effects, and I've seen it go around throughout my life, of those small things come back full force back to me, and didn't even know why, but I think it was just the energy of just putting it out there in the universe, that it's not just about me, it's others. We're all out here together. If we all can just give a little bit more, I think this will be a better place for everybody.
Do you ever deal with feeling like you're not good enough and you don't belong and you're just not worthy of it?
I think that started off at a very young age, actually, Riley. Yeah, I'd never had that one group. Like in school, you know how you had the group of the cool kids, and then the sports guys, and then the guys that dressed and wore, I won't age myself, but like Jabot and Guess at the time. And I just didn't really fit in any of them, but I could always go to each of their tables during lunchtime and they would accept me. And over time in life, it's one of those things where you just get comfortable with being your own character. You don't always have to fit in somewhere. And when you don't, sometimes you're like, oh, maybe I'm not good enough to fit in with them. Or maybe I can't actually run as fast as those people. That's why they don't want me sitting or being around them. And I don't actually fit in. I feel this weird, awkward moment when I'm around them. And I think we have to stop that. I think we as individuals and humans have to know that we're all different, right? We all have our benefits and our points of where we excel at, and it doesn't have to be in one specific thing. You can be well rounded, and when you grab a hold of that, it doesn't matter what group that you're in. Like
Mhm.
I know I can be accepted in any group because I embody everything that each group has, anyways. Maybe not to the highest level, but you know what? You're not better than me, and I'm not better than you. At the end of the day, we're just us.
I asked that to kind of precursor the next question, which is after this happens. So, what was really interesting about this, I remember calling you. I called you that night, like immediately. I was
You
like,
did.
bro,
Yes.
what?
It was almost identical
Yeah,
to
it
that.
was like
right
that.
there. Yep.
And then like the dust settled, and I think over the weekend, like Sunday, I might have called you, and because this thing, I was just online, it was just blowing up, and tons of people shouting you out and just showering you with a lot of love from all angles. People that you grew up with in Arizona. I saw
Yes.
like your family that I know. I know your parents. I know Bruce Senior and Deborah.
Yeah.
They are incredible people. So it's testament to them. Raising a great boy, multiple great kids actually. So shout out Hodges family. And then and what I was calling you about on Sunday was just to celebrate you, and just see how that was. Like, how is it? Because I think everybody goes through life. Like, here's the secret is like everybody struggles to feel like they're valuable, or to feel like they're a contributor, and to feel like they belong to a group that loves them and wants them to be a part of it. And everybody, I think, and my theory is that people that say they don't experience that are just lying. And then everybody else that tells the truth will say the same thing. Like, yeah, I struggle with that. I struggle with feeling like I belong, feeling like I'm good enough. I struggle with my mood. I struggle with sometimes I'm happy, sometimes I get a little depressed. I think everybody kind of goes through that. And then you start to, when you're not in that groove or in that jive, you can start to get a little selfish, and you don't do things for other people because you're not feeling it. You don't even feel great about yourself. And so, you don't do that thing for somebody else. And then, you did do something for somebody else. It then put you in a position to do something really huge there's, I don't think we will know with 100% certainty if those two kids inside would be alive today had you not pulled over. But we know with 100% certainty that you did pull over and you did take action, and they are alive today. And I think there's a pretty strong case to be made that you're the cause of that. What was that like? Like, what's it like when everybody that's connected to you online, everybody that you work with, anybody that's connected to you at all, especially in the social media age, the word just gets out and everybody that sees it? What was it like to wake up and all of a sudden everybody's like, damn, Bruce, you're a hero?
Yeah.
How did that feel?
I turned my phone off.
You would.
It was a lot. Anybody that knows me, I I'm an energy person. I love to bounce around. I love to pour into people, but I'm definitely not the front stage guy. Like I don't need to have all that attention or the spotlight. It can be overwhelming. Kudos to those that are able to handle those type of things. But I actually, it was more of an emotional thing to me. I went back to like all the different levels and experiences in life that I had, trauma experiences, the motorcycle accident that I had. I got stung by a scorpion when I was 13 years old, went to cardiac arrest, convulsions for 19 and a half hours, almost died. My mom, during birth, wrapped my umbilical cord around my neck. There was a lot of things that transpired, and
You said it like she did that.
I know she gets mad. And she's probably going to be pissed. That I just said that. She's probably going to be.
She was
very
moving
mad.
me around in
She's
there.
moving around and wrapped
Come on,
around
Deborah.
my neck. Yeah. I look at all those things that have transpired in life, and I was able to be blessed to come out and still be strong. That I think there is a purpose and there is a reason behind it, and being thankful and grateful for all the opportunities and the things that I've been able to grow from in life, whether they were traumatic or not. I remember, and I'll give you a short story. In boot camp, I joined the Marine Corps. I wanted to be a pilot. Actually, I signed up for the Air Force, but a week before I got shipped out to boot camp, they told me I was colorblind and flat-footed. So I got pissed. My dad's 21 years, first shirt in the Air Force. Like, I want to be like my dad, man. And you're telling me I can't fly now? I'm not going. I'm going to go to the Marine Corps. I'm just going to be the badass out there, just crushing it. And I go to boot camp, and it was hard. It was 13 weeks of hard stuff. There's people in there all over the country, bigger, stronger, smarter. And I just remember just giving it my all. Second week of boot camp, they provided me the guide. So the guide is the one that wears the flag around his arm and carries the guide stick, and the platoon's behind him. I got my 4 squad allegiance behind me, and then the platoon's behind me. And I held that position for about 8 weeks. I remember going into a jousting squad with this guy named Tong, and he was a small guy, just stomped me to pieces. I was like 120 pounds when I went to boot camp, and it hurt because they took my guide from me and they gave it to him. And I remember it not breaking me down, and I just kept providing and supporting people in the platoon because I know what it felt like not to get to the top, or get to the top and get it taken away. And I remember them waking me up one night, and they said, "Here's your guide on back." I said, "Why?" It's because you deserve it. I said, "Yeah, but I got beat up in the jousting pit." And they was like, "Oh, we did that on purpose. We just want to see if you were still going to be a leader," and you kept doing it. And I graduated #1 out of 126 Marines out of boot camp. And it wasn't just for me, it was all those other Marines that we went to boot camp with at the same time pouring into each other. They just needed somebody to give them that direction, that willpower when somebody wasn't there to support them. And I think that's one of the things that I carry on just in life, is just to try to give someone that little extra push, because my drill instructors did that for me. I could have just quit. I mean, I broke my ribs in boot camp, had pneumonia, but we don't stop. We got to keep grinding if we want to achieve the things in life. And it's going to be painful. It's not going to be easy all the time. But if you really want it, go get it. Nothing's stopping you.
In this example, I think everybody deals with this where you have something and then it gets taken away. Or like you get something or you're close to getting it and then you don't get it. You're applying for this school or applying for this. And it's like you take your tests, you get good scores, then you don't get the thing you wanted.
Right.
And then how you respond to that is like that is your character, is your response to disappointment, your response to heartbreak, your response to when things aren't going your way. And then you had they just put it in front of your face where they're like, "We're giving it back to you because we did that on purpose and we tested you and you passed."
Yeah.
I think life is like that too. You know, if you want to call it God or you want to call it the universe, like I just believe in, I personally believe that karma is a real thing and what goes around comes around. And like you're being tested, you know, how many places in our lives can we look and it's like, where am I being tested? Am I passing the test?
Right.
Am I throwing in the towel, making an excuse because I'm pissed off that I didn't get my way? And then guess what? Like you're going to get rewarded one way or the other. Like the reward for not getting back up and leading again is probably, I don't know what they would have done. How do you think they would have handled that?
I don't know. The boot camp is, it's not the easiest thing at all.
It would have got harder.
I think it would have got harder because being a leader, they do certain things. You have to carry different weight. I really love what Mark wrote this morning about the backpack and the rocks in our backs and being leaders and then being heavier and making sure that we offload them. And it's not the easiest thing to do, but it's necessary. And I think one of them, just to go back real quickly, I was woken, they woke me up about 3 o'clock in the morning one time because the platoon just wasn't doing right. And they hazed me in front of everybody.
Nice.
I had to run around the barracks with my M16 while it was raining for I don't know how long, and then mop the whole squad bay on my knees and run across. And the platoon watched all of it. And they got to see how I had to take the impact of what they were doing, and they didn't like it at all. But I did it with no complaint to them, and that really inspired them. And that, I think that was one of the things that got us even closer as 126 people that didn't know each other 8-10 weeks before that. It was like, wow, this individual is willing to do this. We can do this for each other. Like, who cares about what issues we have? We got to march right. We got to left face properly. If not, we're going to have to keep doing this over and over and over again.
Did they figure it out?
They did. They figured it out. One day I'll show you guys with my VHS tape and show you my boot camp graduation.
You got a cassette, you got a VHS player?
Platoon 1110, one of the baddest platoons out there in Marine Corps.
Let's go. Let's go.
You still communicate with these guys that you're in boot camp with?
One of them, actually, and
Yeah.
I believe you were there when we were down in Florida. I met up with my squad leader. His name was Carlos Saint. He was living there at the time, and we had just opened up that market, and he came out to dinner with us, and I hadn't seen him in 20 years.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Yep.
I know there was interest from like the news stations. You know, you shared with me that like one stat that I'm gonna I'm gonna screw up the stat, so I'm not even gonna say what it actually is. But essentially, they have so many followers on this station's channel, and the engagement that they got and the number of shares that they got was just like unprecedented. And they were like, "Can we interview you? Like, people want to this community and this family and like these people." They want to know who you are, and they want to like, what would you want to say to those people that are tuning into this just to get a glimpse of like, who's this guy that pulled over and did this thing? What would you like to share with them?
I would just have to say that I appreciate everything that they've done, what they poured out. My character, the bravery, and the willingness to serve others when you don't even know them. I believe previously, within the last week, there was another house fire there where a little girl actually did pass away.
Yeah.
So that community was already feeling something. I was not privileged. I didn't know this information. But the gentleman that actually wrote the story, I've been in contact with him. It's something crazy that they haven't had before. It's like 160,000 reactions to this news story. And I think that act of something that I did, not even second thinking it, has now affected so many different people in so many different ways. Yeah, it's huge, man. It's really huge, and I just want to thank everybody that has reached out. If I haven't commented or if I haven't liked it, it's not because I don't appreciate it. I'm not a big social media person, but I think it is important to let them all know that I hear you, I appreciate you, I love you all, and all of us can be firefighters. We can all be superheroes at the end of the day, and it just takes one small act of kindness to be able to do that, and we can keep passing this thing on forward and make it a big chain reaction.
What we're trying to do here, what we're doing with this podcast, and what we're doing as a business is, I think people's lives should be spent and their effort should be spent to better the lives of other people. We're an organization that is here to better the lives of our customers who are homeowners. And quick plug for solar is, Bruce works for, if you want to help Bruce, if you saw this and you're like, I want to do something for this guy, I think that I'm going to shamelessly plug Bruce for a second. So Bruce, Bruce is the director of Boundless University, as well as works in our channel partner division and oversees, hundreds and hundreds of deals being done every single month. And every new person that comes into our business, they meet Bruce day one. Bruce runs orientation with them, introduce them to the company. He's been just a great steward of our organization, and I'm proud to put, he says he doesn't like the spotlight. We like him in the spotlight. We put you front and center for a reason. And I just wanted to just share with anybody, if you want to help Bruce, you can always help Bruce by looking at solar. If you have a house, everybody in New England, I'll tell you this right now, and this isn't even a plug for our company. You should go solar. You should go solar with somebody else. I would prefer you go solar with us, but you should definitely go solar, and you should even do it with somebody else. And you should do it tomorrow, because solar makes so much sense in New England. This is the best market in the country. I don't want to, slight other markets, because we're in lots of other markets, but New England is incredible. There's full 1-to-1 net metering. Go ahead and Google what 1-to-1 net metering means. What you're going to find is a lot of articles about how multiple states have gotten rid of it now, because once the utility has enough customers that have solar panels, they don't need to buy back your electricity from you at the full retail price. It's too good of a deal. If they gave it to everybody, they wouldn't be in business. So they just let the first people get this. Right now, we're giving out solar panels. Nobody pays anything out of pocket up front. Nothing, not a penny out of pocket. Day one, people walk away saving money. and you get full one-to-one net metering. There's tax credits, there's incentives. There's so many reasons to have solar panels in New England. If you pay an electric bill and you own a house, you're spending more money than you should just to power your home because you haven't talked with Bruce or one of his people yet. Once you do that, your eyes will be open to what an incredible opportunity we have in front of us right now with solar in New England. So, Bruce, how does somebody, if they wanted to get a quote from you, if they wanted to support your business and say, like, Bruce, I'd buy solar from that guy. I should probably do it anyway. I might as well do it with that guy. How does somebody get in touch with you and like do business with you if they're interested?
I think the easiest way is probably Facebook now that I'm actively using the thing.
Yeah.
It's Bruce Hodges, Bruce Wayne Hodges. Don't actually know if it's Segdo2, which is my last name spelled backwards, but it's one of those. And I have to tell you, like, being able to train and being the director of training and been doing this for a while, I tell every single one of the new sales reps, like, be your first customer. I was my first customer, and I'm in the market that doesn't have one-to-one metering, net metering. And it's beneficial. And then my parents saw it and they're like, holy moly, it is true. They're like, come over here. One of my hardest sales, I have to tell you, was my mom.
My dad too.
Yeah, my mom was
sales.
one of those.
Yeah.
And they ended up getting solar at their home. And then they got solar on their rental property. And they referred me to other people that they knew that it would benefit. They're on a fixed income. They're retired. There's benefits to solar well beyond what people really understand. Reach out to me, reach out to Boundless, reach out to somebody and just have the conversation with them at the end of the day. Because if not, you are paying a life sentence to the utility company at whatever rate that they're going to charge you at.
The power company will charge you as much money as they want. They'll increase what they charge you every single year, and you'll just pay that and more every month for the rest of your life until you die. That's how it works. Or
You could call me.
you can pay less. You can have a timeline. You can pay less money, have that amount be fixed over a certain amount of time, and then that payment goes away. And you own your power. And that's how solar works. It's very simple. It makes a lot of sense. I too have it on my house. I think we all do. And, you know, solar's good. Life's good in the solar space. Gentlemen, what else do we got to throw on the docket here before we wrap this thing up?
I mean, I could tell stories about Bruce. I feel like I've been the storyteller today, you know?
Yeah.
I got stories.
You have
all
a lot
day.
of stories,
I have a
though.
lot of stories about
Yes, you
Bruce.
do.
All good, too.
Yeah.
All
I have a lot of
incredible
stories
ones.
about him too, but he swore me to secrecy.
I did. We will not talk about Scottsdale.
One and whether they put this in here or not, like another one that's awesome and related to solar, I think anybody in the solar space and anybody who's been in leadership in solar, it's always a head scratcher, you know, like when an install is going in, when a customer's getting installed, or there's like a site audit truck going into the neighborhood, you know, and whoever worked with that customer like isn't there. They don't show up. They don't go to their own installs. They don't go to their own site audits. And you know exactly what story
Yes,
I'm
I
going to
do.
tell. And it's such an awesome one, man.
Yeah, I do.
And it was so inspiring to me early on, you know. But yeah, we went down to South Carolina and we we're testing that market and selling some deals down in that market and knocking some doors down there. And you had sold some customers down there,
I did.
a system, right? And then I think it was maybe a month or two later, I was catching up with you. We were back up here. We weren't in South Carolina anymore. We were back home up in the Northeast. And I was like, what are you up to, Bruce? And you're like, either you were booking a flight or you were about to get on a plane flight.
I was
don't
about to
recall.
get on the plane.
Yeah, you're like, I'm getting on. I'm going through TSA or something. I'm about to get on the plane. I'm like, oh, where are you going? And you're like, oh, I'm going to South Carolina. And I was like, oh, like what's bringing you back down there? And you were like, well, you remember those customers that we helped and that I signed up to go solar. I'm actually going down. It's install day, like tomorrow. So I'm going down to go see my installs tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I remember in that moment, it's almost like you got like get some goosebumps a little. I was like, dude, you're hopping on an airplane. You bought flights. You're hopping on an airplane. You're flying all the way down to another state to go pop in on your customer and go to your install.
Absolutely.
And in that moment, I remember feeling so awesome for you, and like that was so cool to me. And then also I was like, nobody nobody has an excuse to to not show up to an
Especially
install.
it's in your
I was
own
like, this is
town,
the
you don't
greatest
show
story
up.
of all time. Yeah, like people have installs going in their backyard every day, and they're like, I don't want to go to,
I
it's
still
like,
have the pictures
incredible.
of the Chick-fil-A. I call it Chick-fil-A, that I bought the crew down there. It's such a big deal for the homeowner on that day when they're getting installed. For you, the sales rep, that they trusted in this whole process, because it's a construction engineering process, to show up, take care of the crew that's actually installing it. Because you got to remember, like, it is another chain reaction, right? I sit down with a homeowner. They entrusted me to go solar, right? You can get solar, as Riley said, from anywhere else, but they chose to do business with me because business is done between people. And then that now created an opportunity and a job for somebody else, whether it be the site auditor or it's the install person. Like, there's a lot of other things that we have the potential to create ourselves. And going down there that day with the homeowner and be able to go, like, knock the doors of his neighbors and let them see what was going on, seeing the Freedom Forever trucks out front of his house was huge. And I gave him the referrals for everyone that actually went solar while he was getting his install, and that helped him out a lot. He was a single guy at the time paying an electric bill down there, and we were able to save him money and get him some referral bonuses.
That's awesome, man. I see so many solar consultants, like trying to start over every day and start new every day and going like, I got to go hunt down the next thing, the next sale. And it's like, it's right. They're all right there. Really. They're in the neighborhoods where you created traction already and where you have business already. And when you show up, we talked about karma today, talking a lot about karma. It's like when you show up for people, the universe meets you halfway.
That's it.
Always. Your next deals are in those neighborhoods, the neighbors want to do it too. And but that was incredible, man. I just had to highlight that.
Thanks.
Still
I forgot
to
about
this
that
day,
story
I was
too.
like, 3-4 years ago. I think it was about 4 years ago. And
Yes, it
still,
was.
I'm like, that is one of the most badass things that I've seen somebody go do.
The thing about it, though, it was all really instilled. Like, all of you have been my mentors. Like, I had something that most people don't get the opportunity to have, and that's like working directly with the partners of an organization and seeing and feeling and learning and getting the wisdom and the mentorship of what this has now became because of what you guys invested and put in. So all of you guys have been mentors to me, and I actually owe all of you the thank you and the appreciation for trusting in me and giving me the opportunity to be able to be that spotlight for many homeowners and sales reps and other leaders that are here. And it's just it's huge, man. And I truly appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. Like, this has been a changing point in my life over the last 4.5 years that I know that I would not be where I'm currently at right now, mentally, health, without Boundless.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you, man.
I'll humbly take all the credit.
Of course,
You're welcome.
Riley. Yes. You can cash at me later.
Nah, here, just in closing here, I just wanted to tell you thanks for coming in. Thanks for being who you are. Thanks for being thanks for being a part of this organization, part of my life. I think publicly, give you your flowers for doing something great. And then, this is just the message today is really simple. If you do things for others, you are rewarded with bigger opportunities to serve in a greater capacity. And it's just a test, just like your military test. And how you respond to these tests will ultimately reward you with something. It's almost like God or the universe or whatever you want to call it has made it so the most selfish thing you could do for yourself is to do something for other people and continue to serve them. And you'll just get showered with blessings with great things. And it's the only way that you can actually get what you're selfishly pursuing. It's like the movie Groundhog Day. Has anybody ever seen it?
Oh, yeah.
I have.
I think our cameras might have ran out of battery.
I think so.
But we have one more. So we're going to stay on this one right here.
Let's
But
go.
the movie Groundhog Day, it's my dad's favorite movie. He relives the same day over and over again. He wakes up, he goes down to Punxsutawney. He's a reporter, and he goes to Punxsutawney to report on the groundhog, and he just hates it. He's like, this stupid town, this stupid groundhog, this stupid tradition. I just, and he's miserable. And he wakes up the next morning, that Sonny and Cher song, just put your little hand in mine. There ain't no hill or mountain we can climb, babe. Okay?
I got you.
He wakes up to that,
Yeah.
and he wakes up the next morning, he's like, Idiots at the radio station replayed yesterday's tape. Shuts off the alarm clock, looks outside, everybody's rushing. Again, same people, same movement pattern. It's like, this is Punxsutawney. Like, they're going to see the groundhog, and he's like, what the hell's going on? He looks around. He's miserable. He goes to bed that night, wakes up again, it's Groundhog Day again. He wakes up again, it's Groundhog Day again, over and over and over. He starts to learn patterns. He starts to take advantage of things. He starts to, seduce women because he learns the right words to say. And he just starts serving himself miserably. He's just trying to make himself happy. And then one day, he wakes up and he just starts doing nice things for everybody. He's anticipating their needs. He now knows what everybody's favorite drink is, what their habits are. He knows this person's about to step in a puddle. So he goes to where the puddle is and he moves them over and makes sure they don't step in the puddle and ruin their day with a wet sock. And he starts to get joy out of doing that. And then what happens is, like any great movie, is he falls in love and he wakes up the next morning next to the woman that he loves. If we just stop serving ourselves and we just start serving those around us, everything is given. It all comes back tenfold. And Bruce, my friend, you are a living example of that, and you're an inspiration for everybody. So thank you, my friend.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Riley.
Bruce.
Thank you, Mark. I appreciate you guys.